All right, welcome to tonight's City Council meeting, special called council meeting for March 4th, 2020. We have we only have one issue. Welcome to tonight's special called council meeting for March 4th, 2020. And we actually only have one issue tonight, but we're going to begin with a call to order and a roll call vote. Ms. Salter.
Yes, sir. Mr. Gwaltney? Mr. Thames?
Here.
Mr. Higginbotham?
Here.
Mr. Wolverton? Mr. McCluskey? Mr. Jones?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Here. Mr. Wyatt?
Here.
Mrs. Andress?
Here.
Counselor Harden?
Here.
And President Wright.
Here.
So you have a quorum. You have 4 out, but you got a quorum.
Thank you very much. And as I mentioned, we have one item today, which is of an emergency issue, which is why we're having tonight's special called meeting. That item is 010320, which is a request to accept a bid for emergency repair of drainage pipe at Medical Center Drive, which is coming to us from our mayor, Scott McBrayer, Wyatt Pugh, and Greg Cobb, with our building, engineering, and zoning department. And Mr. Cobb, I think we'll begin with you so you can explain to us first the problem and the process of us trying to move forward on some of these bids, if that's okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Brookwood Medical Center Drive is or Medical Center Drive it's called, leads up to Mount Royal Towers, and it is the only access to Mount Royal Towers. And we've known the pipe was bad for some time, and we replaced a section on the bottom end about 2 years ago, and then last year we did another section in it. And since then, I moved forward. Y'all gave me permission in this fiscal year to have Shoal design the rest of the project. Well, last week, a small hole opened up, and I didn't have documents in my hand yet, so I called one of the contractors, and we looked at just fixing that one place. And I called Shoal, and we got the contract documents all ready by Friday. Saturday night, a hole opened up that took 2 dump truck loads to fill. It's really bad. So Vestavia, Saturday night, the mayor and JJ and a whole bunch of other people were up there late Saturday night, and City of Vestavia had their engineer there and some of their public works people. And the concern is, how can we get up that road and still service Mount Royal Towers? So they've moved all the cars off of Mount Royal and brought them down to Metroplex, and they're shuttling their people back and forth, and Mount Royal Towers is still open. But if more of it falls in and they can't service it, they're going to have to evacuate 150 people, okay? So it's very serious that we move as quickly as possible. So last week, I called 4 contractors that are well-known, respected contractors that have worked here before, and said, we need to do it. Well, I asked Mr. Kendrick first how to go about it to make sure we did it right. And we got them together, and we had a meeting in my office Monday at 2, and we gave them 48 hours to bid this project. And the low bidder, well, the bidders were Bulls, Rast, Russo, and Tomahawk, okay? Bulls ended up not turning in a bid, but the low bidder was Tomahawk at $427,025, okay? The next bid was $439,423, and then Rast was in at $578,480, okay? So we didn't have that much money in the budget. We had some, but not enough.
How much did we have in the budget?
Is it 275? 227. 227? Okay, what was in the budget. So we basically had to double that. Okay, so Robert's prepared to make a budget amendment, take care of that. But within that, I asked today if Shoal was going to do engineering during construction, what would it cost? That number came back at $13,200 plus $2,000 for survey. They're going to go in, and that before the contractor gets there, they're going to have all the survey controls in place, the manholes will be located, and the right-of-way is going to be located. We have an emergency plan set up that if more of it falls in, we may put stone on the shoulder of the road and make a drive around it, because we got to be able to get emergency vehicles up there, plus some service to their building, hauling off trash and bringing in food. Vestavia parked one of their paramedics' vehicles up there on the other side of these pipes, and they took one of their fire trucks Sunday morning up to the top and left one of their fire trucks sitting up at top, so that if it got so bad they couldn't get equipment up, they already got a fire truck sitting there. So anyway, that's the reason for this thing, and we're ready to go.
Just to state, I think, an obvious question, that property is all Homewood? 'Cause we're talking a lot of
Unfortunately,
Homewood.
yes.
I mean, talking a lot of Vestavia, but that property is absolutely all of Homewood.
The
We're not
road is
sharing it
ours.
with Vestavia, the road part. That's
The
what-
road.
Yeah.
When you come up to Mount Royal Towers, when you start up there, there's a little wall that has their name on it. That is actually the property line. I had Wygam survey for
That's the
that
property
for me.
line for Vestavia.
That's
Okay.
between Homewood and Vestavia. I had Wygam put the stakes in probably over a year ago, because I wanted to know. So, I mean, I had a tax map on it, but you can't tell where those lines are on the ground, so it has been properly staked.
All right, okay.
But the road, yeah, the road died right into it, if I can figure out where I was. So that's the Vestavia line right there. And then our road dead ends, that's the line, and this is our road right here.
I got it.
So that's that Temple building.
Yep, got it. Okay.
Okay, along with that, Metroplex up there is owned by Keith Hazelrig, and I talked to Mr. Hazelrig, I guess it was Monday. My days are running together now. And he's granted permission for the Mount Royal Towers employees to park in his lot, and they're going to take a shuttle and shuttle those people back and forth. So he's been very kind there.
All right, so how soon can they start work on this?
Well, as soon as we opened the bids and the contractor left, he started making phone calls. He can't get pipe until Wednesday, but they're going to be up there saw cutting the road where they're going to dig on Monday. So if we give him notice to proceed as on Monday, he'll be on the job Monday, saw cutting, preparing, bringing all of his equipment in. He's going to have to bring in several pieces of equipment, and he'll be ready to hit the road as soon as the pipe gets there.
And how long will it take?
It's a 45 working day contract. That's working days contract.
Good.
It will not take that long, but it's,
So it's going to be several weeks.
yes, sir. I would guess about 3. Now, it has a manhole where we stopped off last time 2 years ago at the bottom, and you go up there by the dental building, and there's 2 more manholes. The worst part that caved in is on the upper part. Typically, you lay pipe from the bottom up. That's the way you do it. But what we're going to do is set a manhole up there, that's the part that's really bad, above the dental building, and do it first. Then he's going to go back down to the bottom of the hill and come up and match up to where he started. Which, what's funny, the thing was, he told me he was going to do that, and I was hoping that's what we could talk him into doing, but he already planned doing that, because if we get that open, then to service Mount Royal Towers, you'll be able to come up to the dental building and go around their building through their parking lot and on up to the towers. We'll have good service then. And so we're about the bottom part later. So we just want to immediately get that open back up.
All right, and so we've got, I assume you'll be using all the money that we did have budgeted for this, and we'll be getting an additional approximately $200,000 or so, is what my math is generally correct.
Yes, sir.
Where will that be coming from?
Mr. Brown, I misspoke when Greg asked me. I said 227, that was dyslexic. It's 272 is what was in the budget.
All right,
That
272,
was
so
closer.
maybe about 150 or so.
It's 170,300, it's in the resolution.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Mr. President, now, in that number, I'd asked Shoal about doing engineering during construction, and that was going to be 13.2. The survey was 2,000. That is included in the number for the budget amendment if you so choose to use Shoal.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to show, that number covers it, if that's what you elect to do.
Okay.
But I couldn't say that because I hadn't asked you yet.
Okay, can I ask a question about that?
Yeah, Mr. Harden.
I thought we had already done all the engineering work, the plans have been done by Shoal
They
for
are.
this project. What is it they're doing for $13,000?
Engineering during construction is they have a man on site to make sure the work is being performed correctly. It's kind of like quality control or quality assurance.
understand.
Plus, they're there to answer any questions or anything comes up. If you run into an unexpected utility and have to make a snap judgment change of where we're going to move something. Oh, also, he's already called Missall. We got to get Missall to go up there and paint in all the underground utilities, and that's a 48-hour turnaround on one of these projects. So you can't dig until you get your utilities located if you've got any brains around here. I mean,
What
it
about
just
the
doesn't work.
distance? What about how far, I know we're kind of taking it section by section, or we have been. Can we go all the way now? I mean, can we look at taking the whole?
This is all of it.
This is everything?
This is
Does this
everything.
take us down to Target, or does this take
No,
us
no.
down?
Now, if you'd like to talk about that for a minute, I'll make you really upset. This will go from that intersection where we started 2 years ago, all the way to the end of our city limits. The next thing I'd like to do is get cameras in there and check on all the pipe from there to Target, because I'm afraid that it might be the same mess. I don't know, Mr. Kendrick might know, or somebody might know, was this in the county originally when it was built? The county was real bad about using corrugated metal pipe all the time, and we're paying the piper now. But I want to be ahead of this thing, so we're going to need to video it all the way down. Next year's budget, put more money in there. If there's more corrugated metal in there, whether it's fit or not, we need to put it in the budget and replace it.
Mr. Cobb, is it today, can I get an emergency vehicle and other vehicles up that road?
Yes, sir.
So they are able to get to and from Mount Royal Towers, especially for the emergency kind of stuff?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I was there Sunday when they took the fire truck up there, and I watched that fire truck go up the road because it's loaded with 500 gallons of water, so it was pretty heavy. And one side of the road you can drive on, not on the other. We got it all barricaded off because we don't want anybody on it, because you don't know what the public's going to do.
Right.
And it keeps on raining and keeps on raining. So
Are we-
I was about to say, is the rain gonna?
it's going to rain. It's got rain scheduled for all next week. I was looking.
Work in the rain?
Not very well in the ditch. You can do if it's light rain,
Yeah.
because you're going to have water problems anyway.
Digging that.
He'll dig in if it's light rain.
Yeah.
But I don't want anybody to call me about mud in the creek, because I'm not going to discuss it. It's one of those things. This is a very, very serious situation with having no extra access to Mount Royal. If there was a back way in, then we would take our time and gone through the full process, but there is no back way.
Unless you get on a four-wheeler and come over,
Yes. It's pretty steep from up on the other side, up above that church up there. But anyway, that's where we are. We got 3 good bids. I was surprised that the two were only $12,000 apart, the 2 low bids.
Okay. All right, any further questions or discussion?
Can I
Yes,
ask,
Mr.
I guess,
Yes, sir. Mr.
functional legal question regarding, obviously, we already have the resolution drawn up. And as I understand it from Mr. Cobb, there won't be any additional funds necessary for the shoal work and the 2,000 for survey. It'll be included in the number that's in the current
It's the number
resolution.
that I gave Robert this afternoon. And that's what created the confusion, because I don't have a contract with Shoal yet, but I was just getting numbers together so we would be prepared tonight to tell you how much it's going to be.
Right, but it's in this number is what I'm understanding you to say.
Yes, sir, it's in there.
Do they need to be stipulated
Well,
somewhere
we're
in the
gonna
resolution?
have a thing on an item, sorry, not a thing, on other new business, it's been a long day. An item on other new business Monday to authorize you to let the mayor sign a contract with Shoal, but they didn't have it prepared today, but it's not gonna be needing an additional budget amendment, because we've already, Robert and I considered that in what we sent to you
Right.
today. So that's the total budget amendment needed for that line item for this work, but you'll have to authorize the mayor to sign. What he's signing tonight is just gonna be with Tomahawk, because we don't have the Shoal contract yet.
Gotcha, okay. I just wanted to make sure that was paperwork, so, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jones?
Are you ready for a motion?
Yes, I am.
I move for approval of resolution 2032.
So we have a motion by Mr. Jones for approval, second by Mrs. Smith. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that is approval by 8-0 vote for resolution 20-32.
Thank you. And I'll be bringing you updates every week on what's going on up there, let you know, because I'll be up there.
Please do.
I'll be up there.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we stand adjourned.